The IRS whistleblower in the Hunter Biden case released some of the WhatsApp messages, and it has been confirmed to be between Hunter Biden and a Chinese businessman. A short revolution happened this past weekend in Russia that was very short-lived. Then a bunch of weird naked people were at a pride parade in Seattle with a bunch of kids around. And then lastly, it turns out the Proud Boys were never racist, and they actually beat up some of them this past weekend. I'm Solo, this is The Solo Show. So, the IRS whistleblower released a document containing the messages between Hunter Biden and a Chinese businessman. The message said, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now that means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following in my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father." So, not only has it been confirmed that both Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were photographed at their house, I believe in Delaware. It is absolutely insane. It can't get any clearer that Joe Biden is in on this with Hunter Biden and is using his power in American politics to persuade these Chinese businessmen to give them a bunch of money. And the White House is already coming out and saying it's not true. They originally said that Biden doesn't know anything about Hunter's business affairs. And then today, Karine Jean-Pierre is saying that he is not in business with Hunter business affairs. So they completely switched it over to not knowing at all to not being in business with them. And you got to ask yourself, what do they mean by this? Are they saying there's no official documentation binding Hunter Biden and Joe Biden working together? They're starting to talk very technical, which they know, or which we now know means that they know that they are going to be in trouble. And this is absolutely crazy. You know, he named his father 2 times by literally saying father, and then another time saying the man next to me. And we know that they both were there at the same time. The White House is already deflecting questions. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre is already saying, she had a 4-minute dialogue of her avoiding the question, not answering at all. And, so many people are trying to cover this up and not give the American people transparency they're supposed to give. And, this is why thankfully, we have Speaker of the House, McCarthy, saying that on July 6th, he's going to start impeachment on Attorney General Merrick Garland. And this accountability is starting now, or July 6th, technically. But it is soon going to reach Joe Biden, and they are going to finally get basically what they've been doing and held accountable. And this is amazing. This is great. I think in the future, it's going to hurt his presidency in 2024. But the thing that sucks about it, I guess, is going to be all the Democrats defending them. They say that, it is crazy that we're doing this. It's uncalled for. And they have a short memory, right? They don't remember from 2016 to 2020 them going after Trump and throwing everything they could at him, trying to impeach him twice. And it is crazy that they don't see the hypocrisy, and they also don't see how Joe Biden's obviously guilty of working with his son Hunter. So next up, there was a short-lived rebellion in Russia, and here is how it went down. So according to ABC News, so a chaotic, I don't know why I botched that. The uprising led by Yevgeny Prigozhin, began in southern Russia's city of Rostov-on-Don. Forces loyal to him marched towards Moscow before turning back Saturday night. So it was from Friday to Saturday. On Friday, June 23rd, he threatened rebellion. He appeared to threaten an armed rebellion against Russia's military leadership. He accused the Russia officials of deliberately shelling his forces on earlier in the day. There are 25,000 of us, and we're coming to sort things out. Those who want to join us, it's time to finish with this mess. And then Saturday at 1 a.m., Putin is briefed on the armed rebellion. He was briefed for the attempted armed rebellion overnight, according to Russia's state-run media. A late-night statement from the Kremlin spokesperson suggested that the Kremlin considered Wagner's group moved into Rostov-on-Don, a key Russian city closer to the border with Ukraine, to be a rebellion. The statement did not mention anyone by name. Wagner Group's claimed control over Rostov military facilities airport at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday. And then the leader said, "We will destroy anyone who stands in our way," he said in one series of video and audio recordings posted on social media. He threatened he would go to Moscow, the capital, saying, "We're moving forward until the end." Then 9:30, the Wagner Group marches towards Moscow. And then 10 a.m., Putin addresses nation on TV, calling the acts treason. And again, he didn't mention anybody by name. Then 11 a.m., Ukraine chimes in, says there's too much chaos in Russia. Then by 5 p.m., the Wagner forces continue to march to Moscow. And then finally, at 8 p.m., I don't want to botch his name again, but it's Prigozhin, orders a halt on march to Moscow. And then once they got to Moscow, he orders mercenaries to halt their march on Moscow and return to their field camps, saying he wanted to avoid shedding Russian blood. The reason the rebellion ended was a mystery, given that he appeared to have been in a dominant position. A senior U.S. official told ABC News, as a part of a deal struck with Putin, he would relocate to Belarus and would not be prosecuted, the Kremlin said. So it was a very short-lived one. He basically just marched up and then got shipped out. He's most likely going to die, though, because there's no way Putin just allows him to just go back to normal. And the weird thing is that, many Americans, for some reason, were rooting for Prigozhin, which makes no sense since the background of the Wagner Group is quite nightmarish. So basically, the Wagner Group is a group of mercenaries that were doing Putin's bidding in Africa. And they are private military that is extremely dangerous and don't really have any ethical or moral ties to anything. So Putin, who is rather, he's a dangerous man and all, but he's rather consistent and kind of predictable. And for the most part, if he would have got overthrown, then you would have gave a warlord Prigozhin basically give him access to a nuclear arms, which is a lot more unpredictable, and someone who doesn't have no relations to anybody except Russia and has a lot higher chance of sending us to nuclear war. So I don't really get why too many Americans were rooting for him, but it was short-lived, so there is nothing to come of it now. Also, what happened this past weekend, there were a bunch of pride parades across the nation as it's the last weekend of Pride. And at these pride events, there were a bunch of nudists in Seattle that were just riding around on bicycles, and it was absolutely disgusting. There were a bunch of kids there in the videos that you could see of them. Dozens of kids just watching these people completely nude going around the city, which is absolutely disgusting. I don't know why it's allowed. And then in another pride parade, you had a bunch of people. We say it time and time again, this community, the LGBTQ, ILMNOP community is going after your kids, right? We say they're groomers, that they're a bunch of weirdos, that they're coming after your kids. And we get called crazy all the time. But at this pride parade, they chanted, "We are here, we are queer, we are coming for your children." They repeatedly chanted that. And it's just quite incredible that they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They are outright just saying it, and we're probably still going to get called crazy by the leftists. And then you even have a New Hampshire state representative who was arrested for child porn, who is a trans woman, right? I believe it was the first time New Hampshire had a trans person as a state representative, and they just got arrested for child pornography. So when we say that they are weird, they're coming after your children, they have weird fetishes, and we say these people are mentally disturbed, we are the ones looked at like we're crazy. And we really need to keep fighting this fight, and this is an important battle that we cannot lose. If we lose our kids, if we to this ideology, the future is gonna be not bright for the United States. And we got to continue to vote in 2024 and every election coming up, and just remember instances like these. These people cannot normalize what they're doing, and I mean it isn't normal at all. And yeah, we just got to keep fighting this fight. Then lastly, the Proud Boys got into an altercation with the Patriot Front at a protest, and they actually started ripping the mask off of the group and pushing them away from the protest. If you don't know, Patriot Front is a bunch of guys. They all have like a uniform, I guess. It's just like a long blue t-shirt or tank top or blue long sleeve and like khaki pants, and they always wear like a mask. No matter where they go, they wear a mask, just like Antifa. As you know, a lot of the patriotic groups, they don't like to cover their face. They like to know who they are. They're proud for what they're doing. That, for example, Proud Boys, they're proud of who they are, so they don't mask up. So it is said to be that the Patriot Front is most likely a bunch of feds, and I was on the fence about it. I was like, okay, maybe not. They were super racist, saying very racist chants, and the Proud Boys actually started fighting them and unmasked who they were. I'm telling you, it looked like a episode off of Scooby-Doo. They unmasked them. And then the video was uploaded to Twitter. A bunch of the people on Twitter found out who the people were unmasked. One of them, I forgot, he went to college somewhere in California. He said that he wants to work for the government soon. He's a senior, and a bunch of the people, it's crazy. It's crazy how at 1 week you be conspiracy theorists, and then the next week that's something that is true. It is absolutely crazy. But it proves that the Proud Boys are not racist, and the Patriot Front, who are the feds, are indeed the racist ones and trying to make the conservative movement look horrible. And I mean, I'm glad it happened. And yeah, I mean, I recommend you guys checking out that video and see how crazy it is. But that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Just go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.